We all want wisdom without wounds, but life doesn't work like that. Pain carves knowledge into us in a way comfort never will. The betrayals, the rejections, the disappointments, they are merciless professors. When you face pain without numbing it, you stop being naive. You begin to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. That doesn't make you bitter, it makes you sharper. Because every scar carries data, who you can trust, what environments break you, and how strong you actually are. Pain is brutal, but it's also the tuition fee for wisdom. Pain is not just an interruption in life, it is life's curriculum. It is the class we never signed up for, but can never drop out of. When things fall apart, when someone leaves, when you lose what you thought you couldn't live without, when the world betrays your trust, something inside you is forced to wake up. And that awakening, as brutal as it feels, is where wisdom begins. Think about it. Comfort never teaches us. No one ever grew stronger in the moments when everything was easy, when every plan worked, when love was secure. Comfort keeps us soft. But pain reshapes you. It stretches your capacity to endure. It rearranges your priorities. It strips away illusions and forces you to see what is real. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't arrive gently. It comes like a storm, and when it leaves, you are not the same. The truth is, pain exposes the cracks in our character and the blind spots in our judgment. It shows us who we thought we could trust but shouldn't have. It reveals the difference between what we wanted and what we actually needed. It humbles us, and humility is often the very soil in which wisdom grows. Some people spend their whole lives running from pain, numbing it, denying it, burying it under distractions. But here's the ruthless reality. The pain you avoid is the lesson you postpone, and the more you resist it, the louder it becomes until it breaks you open. The dangerously smart person doesn't run from pain. They let it cut and they learn while it does. They pay attention to the data that pain delivers. Because pain always brings information. Who you are without your titles, what matters when the noise is stripped away, and how much strength you carry when life pushes you to the wall. Pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It is brutal, yes, but it is also honest. And once you allow it to shape you, no one can take away what you've learned. That's why those who have suffered deeply often walk with a quiet authority. You can see in their eyes that they've been through fire, and the fire made them clear, sharp, and unshakable. One of the most liberating lessons you will ever learn is this. Not everyone is entitled to your presence, your energy, or your attention. We are conditioned from an early age to believe that being good means being available. We are told to answer every call, respond to every request, show up every time we are asked, and keep giving even when it empties us. But here's the ruthless truth. When you make yourself accessible to everyone, you devalue yourself without even realizing it. Think of your life as a house. Some people belong in the living room where they are welcomed, but the door stays visible. A few rare ones are allowed into the kitchen, where they share food and conversation. But only the trusted, the loyal, the proven belong in the bedroom, your most intimate space. The mistake so many of us make is that we hand out bedroom keys to people who haven't even earned a place on the porch. And then we wonder why our peace feels invaded, why our energy feels drained, and why our trust keeps getting broken. The dangerously smart person understands that access is a privilege, not a right. They don't confuse politeness with permission. They know that boundaries are not walls. They are filters that separate what nourishes from what poisons. Protecting your energy doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to let careless people waste what you've spent years building. The truth is, some people want proximity to you, not because they value you, but because they benefit from you. They don't love you, they love what you give them, your time, your resources, your attention, your light. And if you are not careful, they will drain you until you no longer recognize yourself. To be dangerously smart is to learn the difference between those who genuinely care for you and those who only want to consume you. It is to understand that no is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is the act of protecting your life force for the people, the work, and the future that actually matter. And here's the paradox. When you start limiting access, when you stop giving yourself away to anyone who demands you, the right people show up. The ones who respect boundaries, who honor your time, who bring as much as they take. By guarding who gets to enter your space, you elevate the value of your presence, and you will never again confuse attention with love or flattery with loyalty. One of the hardest things to unlearn is the habit of over-explaining yourself. Many of us grew up believing that if people could just understand our heart, our reasons, our choices, they would respect them. But the truth is, explanation rarely changes the mind of someone determined to misunderstand you. In fact, explanations often become ammunition. The more you reveal, the more room you give others to twist, judge, or manipulate your words. Silence, on the other hand, is unshakable. It has a way of unsettling people because it denies them control. When you stop justifying every decision, you teach people that your yes and your no carry weight on their own. You stop chasing validation, and that is a dangerous kind of strength. Silence is not weakness, it is restraint. It is choosing dignity over debate, peace over performance. There is wisdom in saying nothing when everything in you wants to defend yourself. Silence doesn't mean you don't care. It means you've learned that energy is precious, and not every battle is worth your words. Think about it. People who love and respect you don't demand an essay to believe in you. They trust your character, not your explanations. The ones who insist on endless justifications are usually the very people who benefit from your confusion. When you remain silent, you deny them that advantage. And silence is not empty. It is full of observation, full of reflection, full of truth that doesn't need to scream to be real. In silence, you notice things you would have missed while arguing. You see who supports you without needing persuasion and who only claps when you're performing. The dangerously smart person learns the power of silence as a strategy. They understand that words are like currency. Spend them wisely or you'll end up bankrupt. By refusing to explain everything, you create an aura of unpredictability. People no longer know how to pull your strings because you've stopped handing them the script. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is simply this: no statement at all. We often treat trust as if it were something safe, something certain, like a contract that guarantees fairness. But the reality is far less comforting. Trust is always a gamble. It doesn't come with insurance, and it doesn't come with promises that won't break. To trust is to expose yourself, to open a door that someone could easily slam in your face. That's why trust feels so dangerous. It's never guaranteed. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. You will be let down. You will trust someone who doesn't deserve it. You will misjudge character at least once. And those moments will sting more than any physical wound because betrayal always cuts deeper than pain you see coming. But here's the ruthless lesson. Avoiding trust altogether doesn't protect you. It starves you. Refusing to trust builds walls so high that not even love can climb them. It keeps you safe. But safety without connection is just another name for loneliness. Being dangerously smart doesn't mean never trusting. It means learning how to trust with wisdom. It means observing patterns instead of believing promises. It means watching what people do rather than clinging to what they say. Smart people don't give their trust away freely. They let people earn it slowly, consistently, and over time. But here's the paradox. Even when you choose wisely, trust will still sometimes fail. And that's okay, because every broken trust sharpens your discernment. It teaches you the difference. Between red flags and honest mistakes, it reveals who can be forgiven and who must be released. The lessons sting, but they make you unshakable. The dangerously smart person understands that trust is not about guarantees, it's about courage. The courage to risk disappointment because connection is worth the gamble. the courage to keep your heart open without being naive, the courage to walk away when someone shows you they cannot carry the weight of your trust. When you master this balance, trusting enough to build, but discerning enough to protect, you move through life sharper, wiser, and far less breakable. You stop demanding certainty from people, and instead you start building certainty within yourself. And that shift changes everything. There is a deep fear in all of us about being alone. We think if we're by ourselves, it means we are unwanted, unworthy, or broken. So many people choose the illusion of connection over the truth of solitude. They sit at tables where they are not respected. They hold on to relationships that drain them. They stay in friendships that feel more like competition than support. Why? Because they're terrified of the silence that comes with being alone. But here's the ruthless lesson. There is nothing more painful than surrounding yourself with people who make you feel lonely while you're in their presence. That is a deeper emptiness than solitude could ever give you. Fake connection corrodes your spirit. It forces you to shrink, to play roles, to silence parts of yourself just to belong. And belonging that costs you your authenticity is not belonging, it's bondage. Choosing loneliness over counterfeit companionship is one of the bravest acts of self-respect you can make. Because when you sit in your own company, you learn something powerful. You are enough. You realize that your worth is not dependent on who validates it. You discover the joy of peace that doesn't rely on performance or approval. And in that stillness, you begin to build inner strength that no fake friend, no empty relationship can ever provide. Loneliness, when embraced, becomes a teacher. It teaches you to love the sound of your own voice. It teaches you to fill your own cup instead of waiting for others to pour into it. It teaches you patience because the right people cannot find you if you're busy entertaining the wrong ones. And most importantly, it teaches you never to trade your soul for company. The dangerously smart person does not fear being alone. They know solitude is the crucible where clarity is forged. They understand that it is better to walk alone in truth than to sit surrounded in lay. Yes, they don't mistake noise for love or presence for loyalty. And here's the paradox. Once you embrace loneliness, you stop settling. And when you stop settling, you create space for genuine connection to find you, the kind that honors you, sees you, and loves you without condition. Until then, solitude is not punishment, it is protection. Most people live behind masks. They smile when they are breaking inside. They agree when their soul is screaming no. They perform for approval while burying the truth of who they are. And for a while, the mask works. It keeps peace, it avoids conflict, it earns applause, but it also keeps you stuck in illusions about yourself, about others, about the life you are really living. The ruthlessly smart person learns that honesty, while costly, is the only path to freedom. And not the soft, sugar-coated kind of honesty, the brutal, unfiltered truth that slices through pretense. It's the honesty that says, this relationship is draining me. The honesty that admits, I am not happy where I am. The honesty that looks in the mirror and confesses, I've been lying to myself. This kind of honesty is dangerous because it destroys illusions, and illusions are comfortable. But what good is comfort if it keeps you in chains? When you start being ruthlessly honest, you'll lose some people. The ones who benefited from your silence, your compliance, your pretending, they won't celebrate your truth. And that's the gift of honesty. It exposes who is with you for real and who is with you for convenience. But here's the beauty. Once the illusions shatter, you finally see clearly. You stop wasting time on people who don't value you. You stop investing in paths that don't lead anywhere. You stop negotiating with yourself over the standards you know you deserve. Truth hurts, yes, but it heals deeper than any lie ever could. The dangerously smart person would rather be cut by the truth than comforted by a lie. They know illusions might feel safe, but they steal years. And clarity, no matter how painful, gives power back to you. Because once you start telling the truth about your needs, your limits, your worth, no one can control you with lies again. One of the hardest but most freeing lessons you will ever learn is this: if you cannot detach, you will always be controlled. People, outcomes, possessions, when you cling too tightly to any of them, you hand them the power to define your peace. And when they shift, leave, or break, as they always eventually do, you shatter with them. Detachment is not indifference. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you recognize that your value isn't tied to who stays, what you own, or how others perceive you. It means you can love deeply but not lose yourself in the process. It means you can work with passion but not let failure strip you of identity. It means you can hope for outcomes but not collapse when they don't go your way. The dangerously smart person practices detachment because they know attachment creates leverage, and leverage can be used against you. If someone knows you can't live without them, they can manipulate you. If life knows you're defined by one role, one job, one dream, it can break you when that role changes or that dream falls apart. Detachment takes back that power. It's the quiet strength of saying, I choose you, but I don't need you to survive, or I want this path, but if it doesn't work, I'll build another. Detachment makes you unshakable because you stop giving external forces the keys to your peace. Yes, detachment is ruthless. It feels cold to those who benefit from your dependency, but it is the only way to live free, because once you learn to hold things loosely, to enjoy without clutching, to love without losing yourself, to hope without demanding, you become untouchable. The dangerously smart person doesn't chain their identity to things that can be lost. They anchor it within themselves. And that is why, when storms come, they may bend, but they do not break. Most people let their emotions run the show. Anger drives their reactions. Fear dictates their choices. Sadness controls their outlook. But here's the ruthless truth. Emotions are not meant to steer your life. They're meant to signal you. They are data, not directions. When you feel anger, it's telling you something is unfair. When you feel fear, it's pointing to where growth lives. When you feel sadness, it's showing you where love or meaning has been lost. The dangerously smart person learns to listen to emotions but not be ruled by them. They treat emotions like flashing lights on a dashboard, important to notice but not something to hand the steering wheel to. The moment you stop letting emotions control your behavior, you gain power most people will never taste. You respond instead of react. You pause when others explode. You hold steady when others collapse. That stability makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is a form of strength that protects you. Does this mean you suppress feelings? No. Suppression makes you brittle. It means you acknowledge emotions without bowing to them. You name them, you study them, and then you choose your response with clarity instead of impulse. And this is what makes you dangerously smart. You don't deny your humanity, but you also don't let it sabotage your destiny. You let emotions inform you, but not imprison you. The truth is, life will demand ruthless lessons from you. Pain will cut you. Boundaries will isolate you. Silence will test you. Trust will stretch you. Solitude will refine you. Honesty will cost you. Detachment will free you. And emotional mastery will steady you. Each lesson stings when you learn it, but each one sharpens you into someone who cannot be fooled, manipulated, or broken so easily. To be dangerously smart is not about arrogance. It's about clarity. It's about moving through the world with eyes wide open, with a spine that does not bend for approval, and with a heart that beats strong even when storms rage. When you embody these lessons, you stop playing small. You stop living blind. You become someone who not only survives, but someone who cannot be ignored. The truth is, wisdom doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in fire. These ruthless lessons are not easy, and they were never meant to be. Pain will break illusions, boundaries will protect you, silence will strengthen you, trust will stretch you, solitude will refine you, honesty will free you, detachment will empower you, and emotional mastery will steady you to become dangerously small. Our art is to live awake. It's to stop being fooled by flattery, controlled by fear, or imprisoned by the need for approval. It's to walk through the world with clarity in your eyes, courage in your chest, and discipline in your spirit. And once you've learned these lessons, you are no longer at the mercy of life. You become a force within it. You don't just survive, you stand unshakable, undeniable, and unbreakable. That's the power of being dangerously smart,